Assalamu alaikum everyone, I hope you're well. So today's recipe is very Middle Eastern, Persian and Pakistani at the same time. So it's kofta, and in Pakistan we make kofta with shorba. Shorba is stew. So we prepare kofta separately and then we prepare shorba, and then the two are mixed together and end result is kofta curry. Um, so it's a very popular dish in the whole of Middle East and Persia and Pakistan. The only difference being that we use different spices in Pakistan as compared to Middle East or Persia. It's slightly more on the spicy side, but I think that adds so much more flavor to it as well. Not saying that Middle Eastern or Persian is not as nice. It is as nice, but for a palate which finds little spice very flavorful, I think this recipe is very nice. So let's get started with today's kofta curry. So to make koftas, which are meatballs, I have chopped two medium-sized onions here, which all these will be going in the food processor. So few green chilies, some ginger which I've cut into slices, and few cloves of garlic. I'll show you. So I'll be using beef for today's koftas or meatballs. So I have about 750 grams of beef which is getting defrosted. It'll be defrosted very soon. So food processor, it's already minced beef, but I'll just run it through food processor once to give it that form. But the meat will go separately in the food processor as compared to all of these ingredients. I'll show you how I would do it. So I chop green chilies much finer than I would like onions to be. So the first few couple of things I would add to food processor for fine chopping is green chilies, ginger and garlic. Once these are finely chopped, then I'll add onions to it, and I'll chop onions as well, but not as fine as I would want these ingredients to be. So I've finely chopped green chilies, garlic and ginger, and in the same now I'll add onions to it and do one more round. So as you can see, the onions are in, so let's do this now. So this is how it looks. So onions are little more, they've got a little more bite to them as compared to chilies and ginger and garlic. So before I start doing beef, I'll take all of this out. Meat should only be done on its own with nothing else in there. Okay, so now that we have meat, onions, green chilies, everything in here, I'll start adding spices. So to start with, salt, about a little more than 1 teaspoon I would say. It's to your taste, so if you would like to add less or more, it's entirely up to you. Red chili powder, about 1 teaspoon. I think red chili flakes, they go very nice with it as well. I'll see if I have some. Yes. Again, about 1 teaspoon. So we have already spiced it up with green chilies, but we need little more spice and a Pakistani taste to it. Next would be coriander powder, 1 teaspoon. The taste of cumin powder in this is very prominent and very nice, and to make these very nice, I'll add cumin powder to it. So about, I would say, 1.5 teaspoon of cumin powder. And then I'll add some garam masala to it. About half teaspoon garam masala. And let's add besan later. Before I do that, just some crushed black peppercorns. That should do. And now I'll start mixing everything. So it's all been mixed really well. It can be slightly on the runny side, which is not really the case here, but I think if I add 2 teaspoons of besan, that will help the koftas or meatballs to form nicely. So about, not too much, just 2 teaspoons of besan. So besan, for those who don't know, is gram flour. And I'll give it a mix. So I've left this kofta meat set for about 10-15 minutes, and I'll start preparing koftas or meatballs now. On the side, in a wok, I have oil heating up because these will be deep fried at medium heat, and then I'll start preparing the stew or the shorba or curry. So let's size of these meatballs is a personal choice, but I think size of a medium egg or small egg is fine in my opinion. So just like this. Some people make it very round, some would like it slightly oval. I think I prefer it slightly not round but oval, so I'll prepare koftas that way. So the oil is sizzling away now, so I'll start adding koftas to this oil. It's on medium flame or medium heat if you have electric stove. So while the koftas are still getting fried, I'll start preparing the ingredients for stew or shorba to make this kofta curry. So to start with, 2 medium-sized onions, finely sliced. So the oil is hot. In the second pan, I'll start adding onions to it. So while the onions are still getting done, I'm going to blend some tomatoes and green chilies to make the paste for the stew. So I have 3 medium-sized tomatoes which I've just chopped and about 5 green chilies. So I'll just add a tiny bit of water. They are light brown in color and that's what we need for this stew. So after adding tiny bit of water, the lid goes on. Give it a few minutes and it will help the onions to break down nicely and make a nice stew. So a couple of minutes later, let's see. You see the onions have become really soft and they've started to disintegrate, and that's what we really need to achieve. Now it's time to add the tomato and green chili. Now at this step, tomatoes and green chilies which we blended needs to be fried well with these onions, and I'll also add a couple of spices and everything would be fried nicely together. At this step it's very important to fry these tomatoes really well and wait until they're well fried and the oil separates, it starts leaving the curry paste, because this is it's called bhunna in Urdu, and this is what develops the taste in the whole dish. So if you see, it has started to leave oil and it's well fried. So let's add some spices. About 3/4 teaspoon of red chili powder, about 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, and salt to your taste. I'll add about 3/4 teaspoon of salt as well. So finally I'll add about 1 cup of yogurt to it. So before adding yogurt, I prefer taking it off the heat. So we'll continue frying it until this yogurt is fried well as well, and it forms a nice thick paste for the koftas or meatballs to go in. So the paste been fried really well and it has started to leave oil now. So a very nice thick paste for the koftas or meatballs to go in now. So fry everything together after adding koftas without breaking the koftas. So just do this sideways spoon movement. Don't add too much water. I think half a glass of water, half a cup of water is more than enough. So low to medium heat now and the lid on. I'll let it cook and for about 8 to 10 minutes I would say. So 10 minutes later, quite happy, the oil is separated and it's a nice stew with these koftas. So to finish it off, I'm just going to add few spices to it. About 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, just 1/4 teaspoon of garam masala, and about, let's say, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin powder. Chopped fresh coriander leaves, stir. So adding these spices in the end have given it a very nice aroma and it adds to the taste as well. So I'll let it sit for about 5 minutes and it'll be ready to be served. On the side here, I don't know if you can see or not, I've just prepared saffron rice, which can be another recipe sometime in the future. It goes very nice with naan bread or white rice or saffron rice. It's your preference. So I hope you enjoyed watching the recipe of koftas. That's what we call it in the local language in Pakistan. It's a very special recipe and it's done in certain different variations. I've shared with you one of the recipes that I like, and in the future maybe I'll share some more recipes to do koftay. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not yet, and give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Me and Faye will be back together soon for another video, and it's a goodbye from both of us for now.